Congresswoman Mary Miller represents the 15th District of Illinois in the U.S. House of Representatives, where she serves on the Agricultural Committee and Education and Labor Committee. Now, as Republicans take over the House in January, they're going to be investigating the Biden's family extensive multi-million-dollar business dealings in China, Russia, and Ukraine. You know, the ones that big tech oligarchs and fake journalists tried to hide from the American people. Would you please welcome to the show Congresswoman Mary Miller. So glad to have you. You are a farmer, you and your family.
Yes, we are in central Illinois. We raise grain. I tell people we raise corn, cattle, and kids.
You ran for Congress for the first time in 2020.
Yes.
Got elected. I mean, you know, a lot of people would say, you know, I don't want any part of that. Why did you want to go to Congress?
Thank you for asking me. You know, I think so many people today, in light of the political environment, they're motivated by fear and anger.
Yeah.
But I'm motivated by love. Number one, love for my God and my Savior, love for our country, and love for my children and grandchildren. We want our children and grandchildren to have...
I love that. And our audience appreciates that as well. You're already on the Agricultural Committee, so clearly to bring a perspective. You know, Congresswoman, I don't think a lot of Americans appreciate that farmers don't just feed us, but they actually keep us free, because if we can't feed ourselves as a country, and we have to get food from somebody else, they own us. They own our freedom. So we've got to help people understand the importance of agriculture.
Absolutely. When I was deciding to run, the man that was encouraging me, actually, Bill Montgomery, who helped Charlie Kirk get started with Turning Point, I said to him, well, I'm not a politician, I'm not a lawyer. And he said, Mary, number one, you represent the family, which is the foundation of our culture, and you represent agriculture and small business, and that's the foundation of our economy. And it's true, you know, if we don't feel safe in our communities and our stomachs are empty, we're not going to be happy Americans.
When Congress goes back for the session in January, you guys will be in the majority. Republicans will have the majority. I assume that that is good news, very good news. And I'm assuming Kevin McCarthy will end up being the speaker. I'm pretty sure that'll happen. Will the Republicans be bold, show some spine, and hold accountable some of these folks in government who have abused not just their authority, but abused our freedom? Will that happen?
Well, I'm hopeful about that. I can tell you that some of my friends in Congress are committed to that. They don't want to just be placeholders. They don't want to fight on the defense. They got their cue from President Trump, who fought on the offense for the American people. And
yeah, he did.
One of my closest friends in Congress is Congressman Jim Jordan.
Yeah, we love him.
I'm very excited. He's going to be the next head of judiciary. He's going to take these hearings that we're going to have very seriously. We've got all kinds of whistleblowers that have come forward, and we want investigations, whether it's the Biden family, Hunter Biden, CDC, what happened in Afghanistan, what's going on at our border. I mean, we've got a lot of work to do.
Twitter, it's been revealed, they've really been working hard to suppress information and to keep Americans from finding out certain things. I mean, it's a serious thing. There were Twitter executives, including Jack Dorsey, who from all appearances lied to Congress, and they were under oath when they did that. Yes. Will anything happen to these people?
Well, absolutely. Congress is going to be investigating this. Like you say, they're extensive multi-million-dollar business dealings with China, Russia, and Ukraine. And I'm just grateful that eventually the truth comes out. And we need to hold these people accountable.
We absolutely do. Most of the folks here in our audience, if they were stealing or lying, they're not going to get away with it.
Right.
Why should people elected, why should people who are billionaires get away with it? They shouldn't.
Right. Well, we have two systems of government now. I mean, I think we've seen that the past couple of years, and it's most unfortunate. And President Biden has weaponized, like the DOJ and the FBI going after regular Americans and then giving people Dorsey and others a pass. Biden's, his whole family.
I just worry that, this will be another thing, and the press will say, oh, there's nothing to see here. This is not a real story. But it is a real story when people who are making decisions about voting are kept from the truth, whether it's about COVID or whether it's about the Biden family criminal enterprise. And if they don't have that information, there's a certain reality that not only is it a restraint of trade, but that's electioneering. I mean, that is tampering with an election.
Well, and I believe it would have changed the results of the 2020 election, because if the American people would have heard 10% for the big guy, I believe it would have changed the election results.
And maybe there would have actually been some reporters with integrity who would have demanded some accountability for who is the big guy. And how come he got 10%? And how come his son flew on Air Force Two to China and made business deals? I mean, those are serious issues.
It is, but there's people out there like Jim Jordan and others that are going to pursue this investigation. 14 whistleblowers have come forward. And actually, I know a lot of your audience are God-fearing people. And today I was reading in Matthew 25 about the unprofitable servant. And the problem wasn't that he was a murderer. He wasn't a robber. He was a do-nothing. And we have got to quit being passive. We will be rolled.
That is so very true, which is why I hope that people who have been elected will recognize nobody sent them there just to enjoy the atmosphere of Washington, but to fight for the people who sent them there and who pay the salaries. That's just so very vital.
And it's not just Congress. It's not just Washington, D.C. I want people not to diminish the impact of local and state offices. Every person has a realm of influence. And I just want to tell people, don't be passive. Find your place in the battle and get busy. Don't be a do-nothing.
100%. The most powerful place, school boards.
Oh, yes.
School boards. And we're seeing parents now show up at the school board and saying, you are not going to throw that book at my son or my daughter. You're not going to tell my daughter, who's a teenager, that she has to just take it when some biological male comes in and wants to take his clothes off in front of her and showers with her. That ain't going to happen in our school.
And I'm so grateful for the parents that are fighting back. And I want to say, carry on. We cannot, give up this battle. We have too much to lose. We all want our children and grandchildren to have access to the wonderful freedom and opportunity that we've had. And what are we going to say to them? Well, I've heard your daughter's story of, in politics with you, and basically the same thing, so.
Well, I'm keeping an eye on her. She better do well, I can tell you that. I'm going to make sure but I'm not worried about it, because she has convictions. And they're biblical convictions. And I think we need so many people, and I'm so grateful for you, because you don't just come with political views, but with biblical convictions that you're just not going to roll over for.
Actually, this week I got asked to speak before the Republican conference. And I reminded everybody, number one, without vision, the people perish. And I prayed, God, give us a vision of how to battle evil. Let us lay aside malice and selfish ambition. Let us make it our aim to please you and to remember that we are going to give an account for what we do with these opportunities. So.
Well, Congresswoman, I want you to know I feel much better about the future of our country and party, knowing that you're in Congress. And I hope you don't change and you just keep the fight.
Thank you.
With your courageous convictions. The Lord knows we need you there. As I like to say, doing the Lord's work in the devil's town, Washington, D.C.
Thank you.
Well, to keep up with Mary Miller, just head over to Huckabee.tv. We have all the links to follow her on social media. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I hope you will now. The button is just below this video, and there's a little bell next to it. If you click on those, YouTube will reluctantly start letting you know when we've got a new video uploaded.